Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, all U.S. Constitution protects all lives matter out there. And good morning to our dear President, Donald J. Trump, and our Vice President, J.D. Vance, and his whole cabinet. They're doing a great job. The holidays are going good. And the Democrats are on the rise again with their taunting and ranting and raving. That means the Republicans are doing a great job and Donald Trump is hitting home runs. It's we the people, for the people, by the people. We are a democratic society, not a communistic and a individual, fiefdom, because that's how they're treating the United States as a whole. The Democrats are up in arms that the United States Justice Department uncovered billions of dollars in fraud, and the fraud was committed by Somalians out of Minnesota. Excuse me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, AOC, which they call themselves the Squad, as you very well know, well, that squad might be an organized crime cell. That squad very well be a terroristic cell in disguise as, politicians. Because as you know, we do have sleeper cells in the United States of America. And as you know and seen on TV, we physically have people in the Senate and Congress that wish to physical harm our president and his cabinet for their good deeds of uncovering all the thievery and debauchery that has been going on in the Congress and Senate. This, ladies and gentlemen, is getting stopped gradually, not getting stopped fast enough, because we still have communists and people who don't forget, and I'm going back, don't forget what happened in Beirut, with how many Marines were killed in the bombing. Let's not forget 9/11. Let's not forget 1994, which was not too successful, but the Sheikh Abdul Rahman was apprehended, and who? The FBI was again at the center of the scrutiny. We, the people, for the people, by the people, do not support COINTELPRO and do not support Project M being used on U.S. citizens. And this is through two court rulings, one in D.C. Circuit and Hobson versus Wilson, 737 Fed Second, pages 1 through 15, D.C. Circuit 1987, and early on in Sims versus the CIA, 85 LED Second, 173, 1985. So who was violating court rulings early on? In 2008, well, ladies and gentlemen, we know who it was. Barack Hussein Obama and Joseph Biden. So how can you levy that the United States reigning president Donald J. Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance are violating court orders when way back when? The Democrats were all guilty of what? Brainwashing tactics that continued on and still continue on through the news media. This is illegal. And FCC needs to take a serious stance and employ the rules and regulations according to the news media and stop these individual false newses and make sure that FOIA is employed. FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, 5 USC 552A G1C G4 isn't set for a reason. The United States Congress enacted that law for an open government. And that open government pertains to everything. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, all this cover-up in U.S. versus Rizzoli, 12 CR 550, Rizzoli versus the Executive Office U.S. Attorney et al., all them obstacles in the Second Circuit, that's 25-1580, which Laura Swain, Southern District of New York judge who was appointed by Obama, gladly and willingly sua sponte dismissed the FOIA complaint, which was backed up by documentary proof and records from courts and law enforcement agencies that were known to be false and misleading, and that were used to deny a right to earn wages. That was 21 CV 4138. And there's a few others that are out there. One's in D.C. Circuit before Judge Nichols, which corrupt court clerks were taking and culling out evidence against the FBI and Executive Office of the U.S. Attorney. So again, ladies and gentlemen, they can build their case against Kevin Rizzoli too. But we're going to trial. And when you exercise your right pursuant to the 7th Amendment, we will go through discovery process. And we will show how Kevin Rizzoli was enslaved by Barack Hussein Obama by illegally putting him in prison. And how you were enslaved? You have to have a job. So when you have to have a job or you go to the hole, that's even worse. So again, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a back step. Let's look, listen, and observe the way United States Constitution protects all lives matter. Incorporated founder Kevin Rizzoli, pyramids, his case against Barack Hussein Obama and the Biden organization. Thank you very much. And remember one thing. We the people, for the people, by the people. We support America. We support Americans. We support the U.S. Constitution. And we support the flying of who? The American flag. The flag that the individual Francis Scott Key wrote that song about. If you want to know the true meaning, I'll gladly teach you the true meaning behind that flag. And I'll give you one hint what it is. There was dead men's bodies used to prop up that flagpole, not to let it fall and touch the ground. And the British were responsible for that. The same people who enslaved who? Africans who became African Americans. Not the Italian Americans, not nobody else, but the British. So your beef, Patrice Colors, is with the British. Thank you very much.